Commander Alex Wren stepped off the human shuttle onto the glowing surface of Zerathia, a planet that had long fascinated the galaxy. Its forests shimmered in blue and green bioluminescence, and strange floating rivers reflected the twin suns overhead. Alex had been sent as part of a peace mission, tasked with negotiating an alliance with the ruling Lithirians, a mysterious and highly advanced alien species. Despite his training and experience, the sheer beauty of the planet made him pause. This was nothing like Earth, nothing like the military outposts or space stations he had been to before. Here the air vibrated with life, and every step seemed to hum with energy. He adjusted the straps of his duty pack and walked toward the city, which hovered above the lakes on massive transparent platforms. The architecture was elegant and alien, with towers spiraling like living vines and bridges that seemed to float unsupported. Lithirians themselves were even more extraordinary. Their skin had a soft metallic sheen, and their eyes glowed faintly, shifting colors with emotion. Humans had never truly understood them, and vice versa, but Alex knew the first impression was everything. As he navigated the bustling capital, he tried to memorize the streets and signs, written in flowing glyphs that he could barely decipher. Local merchants, humanoid but distinctly alien, sold strange fruits that pulsed with light and liquids that shimmered as if filled with stars. He was taking careful notes when suddenly he bumped into someone moving quickly from the opposite direction. "I'm so sorry," Alex said instinctively, trying to steady the figure he had collided with. The figure froze. Alex looked up and his breath caught. She was beautiful in a way that made his heart skip. Her skin shimmered with a soft lavender glow, her long hair falling like liquid silver, and her eyes were violet, deep and piercing, yet strangely gentle. She wore an elegant robe that seemed alive, shifting colors like the surface of a lake. Alex's mouth opened and closed before he could form words. I adore you," he blurted out. The words hung in the air, heavier than he expected. He froze, his mind screaming that he had just said something completely inappropriate. But then something strange happened. The alien's eyes widened, and her lips curved into the faintest smile. She leaned in closer, her voice barely a whisper. "At last," Alex staggered back. "At last? What do you mean?" he asked, confused and slightly panicked. The crowd around them moved on as if nothing had happened, but in that moment it felt as though time itself had stopped. The princess, for that's who she must be, did not answer immediately. Instead, she studied him, her expression calm and knowing. Alex realized this was no ordinary reaction. Humans would be embarrassed, shocked, or angry, but she seemed relieved. I didn't mean, I wasn't trying to," Alex stammered, waving his hands helplessly. "Shh," she said gently, putting a hand on his arm. The touch was warm, but also strangely electrifying. "You do not understand, but your words, they matter." Alex had no idea what she was talking about, but he nodded anyway, too aware of her gaze to speak further. A small group of Lithirian attendants appeared, bowing and gesturing for him to follow. Before he could protest, the princess motioned for him to come with them. Inside the palace, Alex was led through corridors of flowing light and living walls that shifted with patterns like moving water. He had visited many alien worlds, but this was unlike anything he had imagined. He tried to maintain his composure, keeping in mind that he was a guest and possibly a diplomat. But his thoughts kept drifting back to the whisper. At last. What had he stumbled into? Finally, they reached a private chamber, elegant and spacious, filled with soft glowing orbs floating in midair. The princess gestured for him to sit. Alex obeyed, his mind racing. "You speak as humans do, with impulsive words and sudden emotion," she said softly, her violet eyes fixed on him. "But sometimes that honesty, it reveals truth." Alex blinked. "Truth about what?" She studied him, her expression unreadable but her eyes warm. "About me, about your people, about the bridge between our worlds. You have said what many hesitate to say. That is why I whispered, at last." Alex felt his heart pound. He had come here to negotiate peace, to prove the worth of humans to a species that barely trusted outsiders. Yet in one accidental sentence he had apparently triggered something far greater than diplomacy. "Bridge?" he asked cautiously. "You mean between humans and Lithirians?" She nodded. "Yes, perhaps this is not coincidence. Perhaps your words are the first step toward understanding, or perhaps fate has simply guided us to this moment." Alex swallowed, trying to steady himself. He had been trained to expect the unexpected, but this was beyond any mission he had imagined. He realized that whether he liked it or not, his life had just changed in ways he could not yet understand. And for reasons he could not explain, he did not feel afraid. Alex sat on the edge of the glowing chamber floor, trying to make sense of everything the princess had just said. Illyra, the Lithirian princess, moved gracefully to a console that floated in midair. Her fingers barely touched the surface, yet streams of light twisted and turned into patterns he could not comprehend. Alex watched her, fascinated and nervous. He still could not believe that a single accidental sentence had caused her to whisper, "At last." "You must understand," Illyra began, turning to face him. "Our people, we are not quick to trust. Our culture is built on patience, observation, and careful thought. Most humans would be too impulsive for us," she smiled faintly. "And yet you speak with honesty without knowing why. That is rare. That is why I reacted as I did." Alex scratched the back of his neck, feeling even more awkward. "I didn't mean to. I wasn't expecting any reaction like that," he admitted. "I'm just a human trying to do his job. Negotiation, diplomacy, not whatever this is." Illyra walked closer and sat opposite him. Her violet eyes softened as she studied him. "What you said, it carries meaning beyond intention. In our history, we have awaited someone from another world who could bridge the gap between humans and Lithirians. Someone whose words could awaken trust where none existed before. Perhaps you are that person." Alex stared at her, unsure whether to be flattered or terrified. "Wait, you're saying, me, a human, I'm supposed to bridge two worlds?" He laughed nervously. "I can barely understand your culture, and now you're talking about prophecies or something." Illyra's gaze did not waver. "Not prophecy exactly, but anticipation. We have watched your people for centuries. Many of us expected someone to come, someone with courage, compassion, and insight. We were cautious, waiting for proof, and now, your honesty has opened a door." Alex swallowed hard, realizing that his mission was already becoming far more complicated than he imagined. He was here to negotiate peace, to present human ideas and technology. Yet now he had stumbled into something entirely personal. A bridge between two species was no small matter, and he had no idea if he was ready. "Do you trust me?" he asked cautiously. Illyra's smile was faint but warm. "I will not pretend that trust comes easily, but in this moment I feel the possibility of it. You have shown me something many humans cannot, and in doing so, you have become part of something far greater than yourself." The weight of her words pressed down on Alex. He was a soldier, trained to act under pressure, but this was different. This was diplomacy, emotion, and history all intertwined. And through it all, he felt a strange pull toward the princess, a connection he could not explain. Suddenly, a soft chime sounded, drawing their attention to the console. Illyra gestured to it, and Alex noticed patterns of light forming shapes and symbols. "These are messages from our advisors," she explained. "There are those among my people who question your presence here. They will test your intentions. It is inevitable." Alex nodded, understanding. "Tests? Like the ones you mentioned about trust and caution?" Illyra's expression turned serious. "Yes, Lithirians are precise. We observe, challenge, and measure. You will be examined. Your courage, intellect, and loyalty will be questioned. Only through these trials will you prove your worth, not just to me, but to all of Zirathia." Alex felt a knot form in his stomach. He had prepared for diplomatic meetings, speeches, and negotiations, but tests of loyalty and courage in an alien culture were far more daunting. And yet he also sensed an opportunity. The trust Illyra had shown him, even partially, could become the foundation for something greater. "You will not be alone," she said gently. "I will guide you where I can. Our people may not understand you yet, but together, we may succeed." Her words gave him a strange confidence, a reassurance that for once he was not entirely on his own. He realized that this mission was no longer just about human diplomacy. It was about connecting, understanding, and navigating a world far different from anything he had known. Alex took a deep breath and met her gaze. "All right, I'll do my best. I don't know what to expect, but I'll try." Illyra's smile returned, faint but real. "That is all that is required, Commander Alex Wren. Effort, honesty, and willingness to learn. The rest will unfold in time." As he looked around the chamber, at the soft glow of the floating orbs and the walls that shifted like water, Alex felt a strange mix of awe and fear. He had entered this world as a soldier, a negotiator, and now he was something more. Someone who could shape the future of human and Letherian relations, perhaps in ways he could not yet imagine. And as he glanced at Elira, he realized that their accidental first words, his awkward, unplanned declaration of "I adore you," might be the key to more than just diplomacy. They might be the beginning of a story neither of them fully understood yet, a story that could change the galaxy. The next morning, Alex was led to a vast chamber in the heart of the Letherian palace. The walls shimmered with shifting patterns of light, and the floor seemed to pulse faintly under his feet. Around him, a series of holographic images appeared, some showing strange landscapes, others showing alien creatures and complex devices he could barely comprehend. This was where the Letherians tested those they wished to trust. Elira walked beside him, her expression calm but serious. "These are not ordinary challenges," she said softly. "They are designed to reveal character. Strength, courage, patience, insight, all are measured. You must remain honest with yourself. Deception will not succeed here." Alex swallowed and nodded. "I understand," he said, though his stomach twisted nervously. He had faced combat simulations, harsh planets, and hostile negotiations, but nothing like this. The tests were not just physical. They probed the mind, the heart, and the spirit. The first trial began immediately. A Letherian official, tall and imposing with silver-tinged skin, approached Alex. "Step forward," he commanded. Alex did as instructed, noticing the floor beneath him slowly opening to reveal a deep chasm. Across the chasm, a glowing platform hovered suspended in mid-air. "Reach the other side," the official said. "Do not falter. Your courage is being measured." Alex's heart pounded. The chasm seemed endless, and the platform was small and slightly unstable. But he remembered Elira's words, honesty, effort, and willingness to learn. He focused on his training, steadying his breath. Carefully, he leapt forward, adjusting his balance with each step. Halfway across, the platform shifted slightly and he almost fell, but he caught himself just in time. When he finally reached the other side, a low hum filled the chamber, signaling success. Elira's violet eyes met his, a faint smile on her lips. "You do not rush recklessly," she observed. "That is good." Next came the mental trials. Alex was placed before a large crystal screen, which displayed a labyrinth of glowing symbols. The task was simple in theory: decode the pattern and find the path through. But the labyrinth shifted constantly, forcing Alex to think creatively. Hours seemed to pass as he traced lines, memorized patterns, and followed logic in ways his human mind had never attempted before. Each time he hesitated, Elira's calm presence reminded him to trust his instincts. "You are learning faster than expected," she said, watching him work. "Humans are often impulsive, yet you combine instinct with observation. That balance, it is rare." By midday, Alex was exhausted but not defeated. The final part of the trial approached, a challenge of loyalty. The Letherian official handed him a small device, glowing softly. "This contains the choice of life and death for someone you must protect," the official explained. "Decide carefully and justify your choice. Your integrity is being tested." Alex looked at the device, realizing it contained a simulation of Elira herself in danger. He felt his heart pound. Could he make the right choice? Could he prove his loyalty to someone so far beyond his culture, his understanding, his experience? After a long pause, he carefully adjusted the device, choosing the path that preserved life without compromising principles. The room went silent. Then a ripple of energy flowed through the chamber, and the official inclined his head in acknowledgement. "You have shown courage, insight, and loyalty. The trials are complete. You are worthy of further trust." Alex exhaled, relief flooding him. He had passed the Letherian tests, not through brute strength or clever tricks, but through honesty, observation, and instinct. Elira stepped closer, her gaze warm and approving. "You have done well," she said. "Few humans would succeed. Fewer still would do so while remaining true to themselves." Alex allowed himself a small smile. I couldn't have done it without your guidance," he admitted. "Even if I didn't fully understand it, knowing you were watching helped me focus." Elira's eyes softened, and for a moment, the distance between human and Letherian seemed to shrink. "That is the beginning of trust," she said. "Not just in me, but in yourself." and in the possibility that our worlds can work together. As they left the chamber, Alex noticed other observers, Litherians who had doubted him at first, now watching with cautious respect. The trials had been more than tests. They had been a demonstration that humans, despite their differences, could rise to meet the challenges of Litherian society. Alex realized that this was the essence of HFY, humans proving their worth not through domination or technology alone, but through courage, integrity, and heart. Later, as Elira guided him through the palace gardens, Alex felt a sense of quiet accomplishment. The glowing flowers and floating streams of light reflected in his eyes. But even more remarkable was the knowledge that he had earned a measure of trust in this alien world. He had entered as a visitor, uncertain and clumsy, and emerged as someone who could, perhaps, bridge the gap between two very different civilizations. And in the back of his mind, he could not forget the first words that had sparked it all. His accidental confession, "I adore you," had begun a chain of events far beyond anything he had imagined. And somehow, he felt it would shape the future of both humans and Litherians in ways he was only beginning to understand. After the trials, Alex thought he could finally catch his breath. The tests had been intense, pushing him to the limits of both mind and body. But peace on Zerathia was not so simple. As Elira guided him through the palace corridors, she spoke with a seriousness that made Alex's stomach tighten. "There are those who will not accept your presence," Elira said, her violet eyes fixed ahead. "Not all of my people are pleased with the idea of humans working closely with the throne. Some seek power and they will try to use any weakness against us." Alex frowned. "You mean there's a conspiracy?" She nodded. "Yes, I have sensed it for some time, but until now I could not be certain. Certain nobles see your arrival as a threat to their influence. If they succeed, it could undo everything we have built, our alliance, our future." Alex's mind raced. He had trained for diplomacy, combat, and survival, but espionage and political intrigue were new territory. "So what do we do?" he asked cautiously. Elira glanced at him, her expression unreadable. "First we gather information. We must know who is plotting and what they intend. We cannot act hastily, but we must be vigilant. You will help me as you have proven your loyalty and insight. Your perspective is valuable." The next days were tense. Alex and Elira moved quietly through the palace, observing council meetings, listening to whispered conversations and deciphering subtle gestures that hinted at hidden alliances. Alex discovered that the Litherians were masters of subtlety. A nod here, a glance there, a slight shift in hue in someone's eyes could convey more than words ever could. He struggled to keep up, but Elira guided him patiently, teaching him how to read the signals, how to notice what was left unsaid. One evening, as they examined a set of encrypted communications, Alex noticed something alarming. A faction of nobles was planning to frame him for espionage, an accusation that could destroy the fragile trust between humans and Litherians. His heart raced. "They want to make me a scapegoat," he said quietly. "If they succeed, it could ruin everything." Elira's eyes darkened with concern. "Yes, that is why your actions must be careful. We must be strategic. They will test not only your loyalty to me, but your ability to think clearly under pressure." Alex nodded, determination replacing fear. "Then we catch them before they act. We expose them, and we protect your people." Over the following days, Alex learned to anticipate moves, to notice small inconsistencies in the nobles' statements, and to trace the threads of the conspiracy. He realized that his human perspective, his ability to think outside the rigid structures of Litherian society, gave him an advantage. Elira's guidance combined with his instincts allowed them to uncover plans that might have gone unnoticed by others. But the conspirators were clever. One night, as Alex returned from a secret observation post, he sensed he was being followed. Shadows shifted in the glowing corridors, and he caught glimpses of figures moving with purpose. He quickened his pace, heart pounding, and managed to slip into a side passage where Elira was waiting. "They are closer than we thought," she said softly, "and they may act sooner. You must remain calm. Panic will be their advantage." Alex took a deep breath, steadying himself. "I understand. I won't let them succeed. Not if I can help it." Together they began to lay a plan. Elira would use her influence subtly to distract the conspirators, while Alex would track their movements and gather evidence. The risk was high, Any mistake could expose him or worse, endanger her life. But Alex felt a strange sense of resolve. He had faced danger before and he had survived. This was different. But the principle was the same: courage, strategy, and trust in his own abilities. Late at night, as they reviewed the data they had gathered, Elira looked at him with a faint, appreciative smile. "You are more capable than I imagined, Alex. Even when I doubted whether a human could adapt to our ways, you have proven that courage and insight are universal qualities." Alex felt a mix of pride and humility. "I'm just trying to do what's right. I can't let anyone destroy the trust we've built." Elira's violet eyes softened. "And that is why I trust you. Not because you are human, not because you are my guest, but because you have shown the qualities that matter: honesty, courage, compassion." In that moment, Alex realized that this conspiracy was not only a threat, it was a test of his ability to navigate alien politics, to act under pressure, and to protect not just himself, but someone he had come to respect deeply. And for the first time, he understood that the words he had spoken accidentally, the words Elira had whispered back to him, were part of a bond that could guide them through even the darkest plots. As the twin sun set over the glowing forests of Zirathia, Alex looked out across the palace balconies, knowing that danger was near but feeling ready to face it. He had learned that humans could adapt, could persevere, and could inspire trust even in worlds that seemed beyond comprehension. And he knew that the next step, exposing the conspirators and protecting Elira, would define not only his mission but the future of human-Letherian relations. The night was darker than usual, though the bioluminescent forests of Zirathia still cast a gentle glow across the palace grounds. Alex moved silently alongside Elira, keeping to the shadows. The conspirators were closing in, and every step brought them closer to danger. Alex's heart pounded, but he forced himself to stay calm. Panic would be the enemy's advantage, and he could not afford mistakes. "They know we are aware," Elira whispered, her violet eyes scanning the corridor ahead. "We have only hours before they act. We must move quickly," Alex nodded. "Do you have a plan?" Elira's lips curved in a small, determined smile. "We adapt. That is our strength. Follow my lead." The two slipped through a hidden passage beneath the palace, a route few humans would even notice. As they moved, the shadows around them seemed alive, shifting and twisting in patterns that made Alex's skin crawl. Yet Elira moved with perfect grace, unafraid, guiding him step by step. Suddenly, a low hum echoed from above. Alex froze. "They're here," he whispered. Elira nodded. "Yes, they expected us to follow the obvious path. We must take the alternate route." She pointed to a narrow tunnel concealed by a panel of glowing vines. Alex squeezed through, his pack scraping the walls. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit grew louder. Footsteps. Commands whispered in Letherian tones. The faint hum of energy weapons being readied. The tunnel opened into a large chamber filled with strange machinery and glowing archives. Elira gestured to a control panel. "We can use this to create a distraction. It will buy us time." Alex quickly scanned the device. With Elira's guidance, he activated a series of holographic projections, flooding the main corridors with shifting images and lights. Guards shouted in confusion, chasing illusions that flickered and disappeared. "Good thinking," Elira said quietly. "Now we move." They raced through the labyrinth of corridors, Elira leading Alex across bridges suspended over glowing rivers. The floating platforms swayed beneath their weight, and Alex felt his stomach lurch. Yet he trusted Elira, and step by careful step he followed. As they reached the outer gardens, a group of elite guards blocked their path. Alex's mind raced. The guards were faster and stronger than any human he had faced, but brute force would not win this fight. Elira whispered, "Use the environment. Think." He scanned the area and noticed clusters of bioluminescent vines that reacted to touch. Carefully, he pulled at one, and a spark of energy shot through the air, startling the guards. Elira acted immediately, using her own skills to manipulate the vines, creating barriers and diversions. Together, they moved in a coordinated rhythm, each step precise, each motion calculated. The chase continued across open terraces and glowing gardens, the night air cool and filled with the scent of alien flowers. Alex's muscles burned, but adrenaline kept him moving. Elira's calm presence gave him confidence. Her knowledge of the palace and environment made them a team far more effective than the conspirators had anticipated. Finally, they reached a high balcony overlooking a river of light flowing like molten glass. Illyra paused and looked at him. "We can leap," she said. "Trust me." Alex hesitated, looking down at the glowing river far below. "Are you sure?" She smiled faintly. "I will not lead you into danger. Leap with me." Taking a deep breath, Alex followed her. They jumped together, landing in the soft glow of bioluminescent plants. The impact sent sparks of light into the air and Alex almost stumbled, but Illyra steadied him. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit faded. The guards had lost track of their quarry. They moved quickly through the forests, Illyra guiding him to a hidden shuttle used only in emergencies. Alex marveled at her knowledge. Every hidden path, every secret route she knew perfectly. "How do you know all this?" he asked, breathless. "Experience and observation," she replied. "The conspirators forget that true skill lies in understanding the world around you, not just strength or power." Finally, they reached the shuttle. Illyra activated it and the craft lifted silently into the night sky. As they rose above the glowing forests, Alex allowed himself a moment to breathe. The immediate danger was over, but the conspiracy had not been fully revealed. The Litherian nobles were still plotting, and he knew this escape was only the beginning. Illyra looked at him, her violet eyes reflecting the starlight. "You have done well," she said. "Your courage and quick thinking have kept us safe. You are more than a diplomat or soldier, you are a partner." Alex felt a mix of pride and humility. "I couldn't have done it without you," he admitted. "Even if I didn't understand everything, your guidance made all the difference." Illyra smiled faintly. "And that is why we will succeed. Together." As the shuttle soared into the sky, leaving the glowing forests of Zirathia behind, Alex realized something important. This world, so alien and different, had tested him in ways he could never have imagined. He had faced danger, uncertainty, and fear, yet he had survived. And through it all, he had begun to understand the Litherians, and perhaps even himself, better than ever before. And for the first time since arriving, he felt a quiet hope. No matter what came next, he would face it not as a visitor or outsider, but as someone who belonged, someone who mattered. And beside him, Illyra watched the stars with a calm assurance, ready for whatever the future might bring. The day of reckoning arrived. Alex and Illyra stood together on the balcony of the central palace, overlooking the glowing city below. The conspirators had gathered in secret, but thanks to careful observation and strategy, Alex and Illyra knew their moves before they even began. Every detail had been planned, every ally positioned. The air was tense, filled with anticipation. Illyra turned to Alex, her violet eyes calm but determined. "This is the moment, Alex. We reveal the plot and protect both our peoples. You must speak clearly, act decisively, and remember what we have learned together." Alex nodded, his mind sharp and focused. He felt a surge of confidence, born from everything he had endured, the trials, the escape, the endless hours of observation. "I understand. Let's do this," he said, his voice steady. They entered the council chamber where the conspirators had gathered, unaware that the evidence against them had already been compiled. Alex's human perspective had helped uncover inconsistencies that Litherians alone might have overlooked. Illyra stepped forward, addressing the council with authority. "There has been deception among you," she announced. "Evidence has been gathered, and the conspirators will be held accountable for their actions." Murmurs filled the chamber. Several Litherians gasped, their glowing eyes shifting rapidly. The conspirators tried to protest, but Alex stepped forward, presenting the evidence he had collected. Holographic projections displayed intercepted messages, secret meetings, and contradictory statements. Each detail was precise, leaving no room for denial. One of the lead conspirators, a tall Litherian with silver-tinged skin, attempted to speak. "This is impossible. How could a human uncover our plans?" Alex met his gaze steadily. "Because humans are different. We see patterns, notice inconsistencies, and adapt. Your plan relied on assumptions that you believed no one outside your culture could understand. You underestimated the value of perspective and honesty." The council fell silent. Illyra's presence added weight to his words. She stepped closer to Alex, her expression proud. "He has proven that humans are capable of more than you believed. Courage, intelligence, and integrity are not limited by species." The conspirators tried to argue further, but the evidence was undeniable. One by one, they were exposed, and the council removed them from positions of influence. The risk to the alliance had been real, but through teamwork, careful observation, and trust, Alex and Elira had prevented disaster. When the chamber cleared, Elira turned to Alex, a faint smile on her lips. "You have done well," she said softly, "not just in uncovering the plot, but in showing that humans can be allies, not threats. Your perspective, your courage, and your willingness to act have bridged a gap that many thought impossible." Alex felt a rush of pride and relief. "We did it together," he said, looking at her. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance and trust." Elira's violet eyes softened. "And that is the point. Trust is earned, yes, but it can also inspire courage and change. You have shown both." In the following days, humans and Letherians began to work closely on joint projects, combining technology, science, and culture. Alex witnessed the benefits firsthand: floating cities adapted with human engineering, Letherian energy systems enhanced by human efficiency, and shared knowledge that neither species could have achieved alone. Elira guided the efforts, and Alex stood at her side, no longer just a diplomat or soldier, but a symbol of unity. During one evening in the palace gardens, Elira and Alex walked together, the glowing plants casting soft light around them. The air was calm, the danger past, yet the bond they had formed during the trials and the escape remained strong. "You know," Alex said, breaking the comfortable silence, "I never expected that saying something so awkward could lead to all of this. I adore you." "I meant it accidentally, but somehow it became important." Elira looked at him, her expression thoughtful. "It was not accidental in the way it mattered." Those words revealed honesty, vulnerability, and courage. In our culture, such traits are rare and powerful. "You spoke the truth even without knowing its weight." Alex smiled, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. "I guess it worked out better than I expected." Elira's eyes glimmered. "Yes, and now we can face the future together. Not just as allies, but as partners in guiding our worlds toward understanding and peace." Alex nodded, looking out over the city. The glowing rivers, floating platforms, and shining towers reminded him that this world, so alien and beautiful, was no longer just a mission. It was a place of possibility, of friendship, and of respect. The accidental confession, the trials, and the escape had all led to this moment, a foundation for a lasting alliance between humans and Letherians. And as he glanced at Elira, standing beside him with quiet strength, Alex realized that trust and courage could create bonds stronger than fear, stronger than suspicion, and perhaps even stronger than destiny itself. The morning sun bathed Zirathia in soft violet and gold, casting light across the floating platforms and shimmering lakes. For the first time since arriving, Alex felt a sense of calm. The conspirators had been exposed, the alliance between humans and Letherians was secure, and Elira's people were beginning to embrace the idea of cooperation. Yet even with the crisis behind them, Alex knew that maintaining trust and understanding would be an ongoing effort. Elira walked beside him through the palace gardens, her violet eyes reflecting the glowing plants. "You have done more than survive here, Alex," she said softly. "You have inspired my people to see humans not as outsiders, but as equals, capable of courage and insight." Alex smiled, though a faint tension lingered in his chest. "I couldn't have done it alone. You guided me every step of the way. I only hope I can live up to what everyone now expects of me." She shook her head gently. "Expectations are less important than action. You have shown what matters: honesty, courage, and the willingness to learn. That is enough. That is what bridges worlds." Alex looked around at the palace and the city beyond. The Letherians were returning to their daily lives, but their interactions had subtly changed. Human engineers worked alongside Letherian technicians, exchanging knowledge. Young Letherians observed Alex's methods, eager to learn from someone who had dared to think differently. It was more than cooperation. It was understanding. Elira stopped near a reflecting pool, its surface shimmering with soft colors. "There is still much to do," she said. "But we have proven that two species can work together, that trust is possible, and that courage matters more than status or origin." Alex knelt by the water, watching his reflection ripple. "It's strange," he said quietly. "I came here thinking I was just another human on a mission, and now I feel like I belong here, in a way I never imagined." Elira joined him, her presence calm and reassuring. Belonging comes from understanding and action. You have both, Alex, and that is why you are more than a guest. You are part of our world now. For a long moment, they simply watched the water, the soft glow of the bioluminescent plants reflecting across their faces. Alex's thoughts drifted back to the first day he had arrived, the accidental words he had spoken, and the whisper that had changed everything. I adore you, he had said, and Elira had whispered back, at last. At the time it had seemed like a mistake, a moment of awkwardness. Now, he understood that those words had been the start of a bond built on trust, courage, and honesty. I never thought something I said by accident could matter so much, he admitted. Glancing at her, Elira smiled, a soft, knowing expression. Sometimes words reveal more than we intend. Yours revealed honesty. That is why they mattered. That is why they led us here. Alex felt a warmth spread through him. The events of the past weeks, trials, escape, conspiracies, and victories, had tested him in ways he could never have predicted. Yet through it all, he had learned that humans, even alone in an alien world, could rise to challenges, inspire trust, and create change. It was the essence of what his people could offer: courage, ingenuity, and integrity. Elira placed a hand on his arm, her touch gentle but grounding. We will continue to explore the stars together, Alex, she said. Humans and Letherians learning from one another, building a future where our worlds are stronger because we understand each other. Alex nodded, feeling the weight of possibility. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns, but he now knew that humans had a place in it, not just as explorers or soldiers, but as builders of trust, as partners, as catalysts for understanding. He looked at Elira, her eyes reflecting the dawn light, and for the first time, he felt that the accidental confession, the chaos, and the danger had all been steps leading to this moment, a beginning, not an end. Then we'll do it, he said firmly. Together. Elira's smile deepened and she extended her hand. Alex took it, feeling a bond that was stronger than fear, stronger than distance, and stronger than words alone. It was a connection born of courage, honesty, and shared experience. Proof that trust could bridge worlds. As they walked back toward the palace, Alex looked out over the city. Humans and Letherians moved among one another, exchanging knowledge, sharing ideas, and learning together. It was not perfect, there were still challenges ahead, but it was a beginning and it was real. Alex realized that some mistakes, some accidents, could change everything. His accidental words had started a chain of events that had not only forged an alliance, but had also created a new kind of understanding. Elira had whispered, at last and now. In the light of a new dawn, he understood why. The galaxy was wide and full of possibilities, but for the first time, Alex knew that with courage, honesty, and partnership, humans could truly make a difference. And beside him, Elira walked as an ally, a guide, and a friend. Someone who believed in him as much as he believed in the future they would build together.